Why should one study law? What are the role opportunities after one completes law? What are the benefits of law and why you should not do law? All of these would be answered in the episode 12 of Vartalap, a special podcast series brought to you by Silver Oak University. Namaste, my name is Rashmi Sharma. I'm head of content at Silver Oak University and I welcome you to this special podcast series called as Vartalap. To discuss law in depth, together with me is Ms. Nancy Jain, who is currently Associate Dean at Silver Oak Law College. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for a great intro.
Let's start with the very basic thing. Law is something that a lot of parents or students do not opt or think of opting after their kids, appear for 12th boards. Why do you think law should be opted and law should be considered by students and teachers? Should also encourage students to go for law courses?
So, first of all, when it comes to law, law is a profession which is a noble profession, and at the same time, it is very important for us to understand that law is not for soft-hearted people. Sometimes people might feel that law is a profession where you can access anything. But at the same time, you need to take care of so many things, which is most important when it comes to law. So, law is more of responsibility, and law is majorly opted by students who know that they can make the change in the society. So this is the basic thing. Why students are not opting law? I think one of the most important reason here is that people are not aware of law. People sometimes don't know what lawyers do. They just think that they are wearing the black coat and they go to court and they come back. So they feel this is a very monotonous job. Because of that, they never felt of choosing law in their careers.
What does the curriculum look like? What are the specializations in law? If you can talk about that.
So when you talk about after 12th, if one can pursue law, then definitely yes, we can offer BA LLB, then integrated BBA LLB, where when we talk about BA LLB and BBA LLB, BA LLB is most ofly touch with the society, the socio-culture of the country and all, and then the BBA LLB side comes with the business strategy. All of that will come under this. And when we talk about the core 3-year LLB, that is the pure law, where one is graduated from any of the college and then they take admission in LLB. And then in Silver Oak Law College, we have two specialization, that is masters. So once you completed your BA LLB, BBA LLB or LLB, you can pursue LLM, and that is in criminal law, which is again a need of a society. And we also offered LM in IPR.
Okay.
That is the niche area of the law. So these two specializations are offered by Silver Oak Law College.
Since we're talking about the eligibility criteria and we got to know that 10 plus 2 is the minimum eligibility criteria, it is also important that what has the subjects been for the students in their 10 plus 2 so that they can pursue law.
There is no bar as such. So once students come in and they ask for that, they have commerce, they have science, they are coming from a background of biology. So we welcome everybody. When we talk about BA LLB or BBA LLB, you can take and see the options which is available on the website. You see the course structure and then you decide that can you do this all subject, scope up with this all subject, and then you can decide. So basically when I give you the glimpse, when you talk about BA LLB, it is more of a theoretical part. And when you talk about BBA LLB, it is more of mathematics, accountancy, strategic management, human resource management. So this kind of differentiation between is there. But then the law subject will remain the same.
Okay.
Since the first semester.
So what typically is the duration of all these programs and how much do they cost?
So when you talk about integrated two programs which we offered, that is BA LLB and BBA LLB, we have total duration of 5 years, and that 5 years will cost you more than 5 lakhs or around 5 lakhs. Then we have LLB, that will cost you around 2 lakhs, and that is a 3-year LLB. Then we have LLM, that is a 1-year program, and that will cost you around 60 to 70,000 per year, and we have 1-year program itself.
So if I talk about the general perspective that I also had was that if I have to go for a bachelor's programs in law, it is just LLB, and if I want to go for master, it is LLM, right? But this is very new to me that there are courses such as BA LLB and BBA LLB as well. So how does a parent or a student differentiate and determine that which one one is the best for him or her?
So once you completed your 12th, you can obviously welcome for integrated program. That is a integrated degree of LLB and BA LLB or BBA LLB. Once you completed your 12th, these are the options. And once you completed your graduation from any university, the 3 year of program or 4 year of program, then you are welcome to do LLB, that is for 3 years. So in our own college, we have 3 year LLB. People are coming from CA background, commerce background. People are coming from who have done their CS, and then they feel that law is very important for me. This is a surplus degree because I feel that coming from different backgrounds, CA, CS, then somebody have done the preparation of UPSC. They also enroll themselves in law so that they get the broader perspective of laws. So when I talk about the curriculum of LLB, we have 6 semesters. In that 6 semesters, we cover 30 plus laws
Okay.
in our subject. Whether you talk about property law, whether you talk about taxation law, whether you talk about constitution, the basic law which one should know, to the higher level, the taxation law or the laws which are more important nowadays, cyber securities, this kind of laws are covered in our LLB program, because we think the people are quite matured and coming from, obviously they have done graduation, so they are more comfortable with this kind of laws.
So if I talk about the scope of LLB, there are students who have already done one or the other bachelor's program of 3 years, and then they come and they pursue
Yes.
3 years of LLB.
Yes.
Right. So it is, I think, one of the most popular courses otherwise as well.
Yes,
if you
yes,
see.
yes, 100%.
So a lot of clarity is not there maybe at 10+2 level, but after somebody has done graduation or somebody has prepared for civil services, they think that, you know, there is a lot of credibility that law course has to offer.
So in this particular domain, people have that thought that what if this degree can surplus whatever we have done. So this is a surplus degree to them. Sometimes IAS, IPS also thought of taking the degree of LLB, though they are selected by the government and they are actually in the service, but then they still decide to come back and do LLB to learn the different laws, to learn the dimensions, what are the things which are proposed by us. So they take it in that way.
So there are times when, for example, somebody wants to do an MBA, right? And in that case, a BBA or a BCom or a BTech is not important. So any graduation person can go for MBA. Do you think that for LLM there is a specification that, you know, somebody has to have a bachelor's in law, then only they can do masters in law?
So when it comes to masters, it is a prerequisite that you have to done LLB. But when it comes to LLB, there is no prerequisite. When it comes to LLM, there need to be certain understanding of law, scope of law, what are the things which are important in law. You need to understand the law first. Then only you can do specialization in any of the subject. So when I say that we have criminal law, that is the need of a society. So in criminal law, there are lot of subject which is in depth. Understanding of what criminology is, what is criminal psychology is, the research subject, because the master program is more focused on the research and LLB program is more focused on learning of laws and application of law. But then when you come to a master program, you are more into researching law, making new policies for the people and working on the research and innovation background too.
So we talked about bachelor's program in law, we talked about master's program in law. Do we also have PhD in law?
Yes, we do have PhD in law. So when you talk about PhD in law, that comes with very much responsibility, and it is more of like you understanding law in a different aspect altogether. When it comes to application, it is quite easy, but when you try to understand some community and give your suggestions towards it, it is a very different altogether thing. So we actually promote PhD students to come up with the new ideas and try to help the society in different ways, because now society is changing every day. So for example, when I talk about phone, so we have that Dabba phone which we are using, and now when you talk about this era, the phones are changed into computer system. So because of that, the crime scene also changing day to day. So because of that, it is very important for us to have a PhD scholars
Mhm.
so that they come up with the new ideas and they give a new suggestions to change laws and the policies of laws.
So let's talk about the curriculum. How does it look like for the bachelor's program and on the outset of master's program as well?
So first of all, when it comes to law, the curriculum is designed in such a way that when you talk about BBA LLB, the importance of BBA will not be lesser than law. That is the beauty of this program. So BBA subjects are equally important than law for 3 years, and after 3 years, 4th and 5th year will be your core law subjects.
In your previous answers, you talked about integrated LLB, right? So how does the curriculum and internship for integrated LLB looks like?
So when we talk about integrated law students, it is very important for us to give them experience of industry also. So the first hand experience of industry will make them realize that what is the best suit for them. So for example, we design internship in such a way, so in first year they go to NGOs. Why
Okay.
NGOs? They go to NGOs and they learn the basic of organization, how organization work, what things they need to do, what are the basic important things which is required for any organization to do for the society. So when it comes to second year, if students are interested in family law, they can go to family courts. If they are interested in labor laws, they can go to labor courts. So second year is basically from the district point of view, that they go to district court and they learn how at the district level work are happening there. In third year, we promote them to go to high court so that they understand what is the difference between the district court and the high court. And the best part is high court is really nearby our university. So this is plus plus for our students, that they can manage their internship and college at the same time. Then at the fourth year, we tell them to go to corporate law culture, and in the last final year, we send them to Supreme Court so that they get the glimpse of that also, that how law is important for them and how this all works from the basics to the upper
advanced.
level of or upper level of the courts.
Right.
So this is how the system which we used to cater in our integrated program. And when you talk about LLB 3-year program, so in that we cut short it and we tell them in a first year that go to NGO or any district court level court, go there and learn how things are working. And in second year, we tell them to go to high court or any corporate law firm, so that again they get the glimpse of how these two things work. And at the final year, we tell them to go to Supreme Court to get an idea.
What kind of infrastructure facilities are needed by the law students, and how Silver Oak Law College also make sure that the state of the art facilities, the labs or the moot courts are made available for the students?
So when I talk about digital literacy, first of all, I want to state that. So in our field also, digital literacy is very important. So we have labs for those. And then let's talk about moot court. So we have a exact replica of high court, and we have moot courts where stimulated activities for them is happening in every week. So we also promote students to go to moot courts in different colleges where all over India students are coming. They have an exposure, they learn how to argument, they learn how to present their self in front of judge, the etiquettes of the courts. This all will be taught by us to them initially in our moot courts, and then we'll send them to the different competitions to learn more about it. And then these two students come back and teach other teams to how to appear in a moot court competitions and all. And when you talk about this, it is very important for me to state again that we are not only concentrating on traditional method of teaching, that is a classroom teaching. We have ICT enabled tools where we can directly tell them to see the proceedings of high court, and then we see the verdicts of it, and then we discuss it in class. And this is how this law college works.
Let's also talk about the roles and opportunities that open up after a student has graduated.
This is a question which actually eye-opening question for all the people who think that law is just a black coat thing. So I really want to state a very important thing. That is, one of my student went to NGO, and he figured it out that this is the noble thing to do, and I am helping a lot of people. Why not I start my own NGO? And then he thought of it. He collected people outside who are law people and non-law people, and then he himself decided to create one NGO. So now he is a second year student. Still he thought of it, and now he is in process of doing it. Secondly, when we talk about different aspect of law, one major aspect is which is not seen by a lot of people is activist. So once you have that zeal, you can become a human right activist. When it comes to mass communication or mass media, you can be advocate there also. When you talk about big brand companies or MNCs, you can sit there and give consultancy to these people. So we have ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution. Then you can be consultant at IPR, law firms. This is how we can see that now we are growing and we are in a different dimensions and directions. So everywhere law is required.
I think it was a very great discussion around law, and I have enough reasons why should one pursue law after their 12th, and I hope that all those questions related to law has been answered through this podcast. In case if you are a parent, in case if you are a student, if you have appeared for 10+2, and if you are looking out for a university or a college, or if you want to pursue law, I think this video would surely help you. In case you still have any more doubt left, please leave a comment and we would definitely come back to you. In case you have not yet followed to Silver Oak University's YouTube channel, please do so. If you like this video, please do a like, share it with your friends whom you think would benefit from this video. Last but not the least, until next time, please take very good care of yourself.